Well, hey, how's it going, everybody? You would think it'd be smart if I cleared my throat before I started talking. I had 2.5 minutes to do that. Let me know if you can hear me in the chat. I have got the chat down here. So, yeah. Um, who is NAB ready? I am. I have booked my flights and going out and getting an Airbnb with a couple of dudes. I'm really excited. And yeah, it should be a good time. I'm spending a little bit more time as of right now, unless a big client job comes up or whatever. But hopefully I'll be there like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, like full days. So that should be a lot of fun. I'm really excited for it. It's always a good time. Like the C47 Gem at the C47 channel, he posted a video about NAB or trade shows in general, and he made a good point how like now it's kind of, it's not for him, and this is how I feel about it, and I'm hoping I'm summing up his. I'm just going to sum up my feelings. It's a good video to watch, but I kind of feel it like there's nothing really that you're going to get exclusive looks at or first looks at really with a lot of products now, just because I mean, social media and everything, like they announce everything. A lot of times brands will announce everything before the show. But it's cool to get hands-on with new products, like when Blackmagic Design announced the Pyxis. This is a good segue to talk about the Pyxis. It was really cool to get some hands-on and just kind of feel the camera in person. So that was really cool. I am filming on the Pyxis right now, and I just absolutely love this camera. Blackmagic did send it out to me, which was really cool of them to test out, review, and all that. And I've been slowly building it out with some parts that I've purchased and some parts that I've just had in general. And then also another company sent me another cage, XLCS Designs, that I'm going to make a video on too, because it's a really, really cool cage. But yeah, the Pyxis is on sale right now for $2,500. So hit this right. Yeah, this is the right one. So $2,500 for the Pyxis 6K. This is the Leica L and the EF mounts. I don't think the PL version is on sale. No, it looks like the PL version is still the regular price, but the most popular ones, the Leica L and the Canon EF, are on sale, which is pretty cool. So yeah, anyways, sorry, I was just reading a comment and oh gosh. Okay. So that's amazing. $2,500. I mean, $500 off. That is, if you were on the fence of getting one of these, then I think now is a really good time to pick one up. And hopefully the monitor, the Pyxis monitor, will be shipping soon. That's going to really transform the camera for me, just to kind of use to free up the SDI for something like a wireless transmitter or something, and to be able to just send a clean feed out of the SDI. So hopefully those will be shipping soon. I know Florent of Two Lands got his hands on one, and he kind of gave his first impressions on it. So hopefully they're starting to trickle into the U.S. at least, well, for me, because I'm here in the U.S., and then for the rest of the world as well. But yeah, it's an amazing camera. I've been using it quite a bit on client projects, and I mean, like, nothing super exciting footage-wise to look at, but I mean, this and the Cinema Camera 6K full frame for me they're kind of just workhorse cameras, and they look so good. Okay, let's go back to the comments. So Frank, thanks for joining. I'm just going to read the comments. I can't put the comments on the screen. I don't know how to do that. And we'll talk about what I'm using to stream here in a little bit. Thomas, hey, I'm really tempted to try to get out to NAB this year. Yeah, you should. It's a really good time, and for me, it's really fun to reconnect with brands in person that I probably haven't seen since the last NAB show. So it's a really cool way to just kind of hang out, share story, share ideas, and just kind of have a, just chat with them, in person as opposed to over an email, because I feel like email has just become so impersonal over time, and it's great to just kind of hang out. And then just the other part of it is just reconnecting with other filmmakers and creators on the YouTube platform or other social media platforms, but I typically only really know other creators on the YouTube platform because that's really spend the most of my time when it comes to social media. And it's just really fun to reconnect with some of them that I haven't seen in person since the last NAB show. Typically I've gone, like, all the NAB shows that I've gone to in the last few years, yeah, all of them I've gone with my good buddy Josh Satin, and then some other guys have gone to different ones, but it's really fun to just go out there and just kind of have a trip to just kind of nerd out on camera gear and just have a good time. And I always bring like $20 to do at the casino, and I lose it immediately. So yeah, that's that. But yeah, it's a really good time. So definitely go if if you can afford it, if your finances are set up for it. And for me, it's a justifiable business expense. So I just put that on travel in the expense report to myself, to my company. So all right, so you can hear that's good. So Ken Kruk says, nice to see you stream. Someone mentioned you were leaving to become a fitness influencer. No, I cannot I cannot influence fitness at all. This is water, by the way, not moonshine, which would be super intense if I was drinking that on the live stream. Be more fun later on, at least for me. No, I have been working out more. We bought a house last year, and lots of things happened last year, and I've mentioned it on this channel before. But my health started going down a downward path, and we in our garage, we ended up kind of moving one side of the garage out, all the stuff out, and put a gym in there. So I got a squat rack and the plates and stuff. So yeah, the only way I can influence fitness is to just do it, because it's really good for you. And if as filmmakers, it's really good for us filmmakers, especially like holding cameras and stuff, good for your back. But no, I'm not an influencer. All right, cool. Loud and clear. Got it. Let's see. Pyxis, that's a great price. The battery solution keeps me away. So the way I kind of approach the Pyxis, it's really cool that they have the battery tray inside of the Pyxis. So let's take a look here. So if I can look at the back. So you've got this BPU style battery here, which it's really cool that you can use those batteries. Like it's got a way to use like batteries natively, which is cool. The Sony batteries. Core SWX makes a U98X battery is what they call it, and It's a 98 watt-hour battery. It can be charged with USB-C, and it also has a DTAP or DTAP port on the back of it. So you can use that to power an external monitor or a Teradek or something like that. And if you're using the viewfinder, like not the viewfinder, the viewfinder or the new Pyxis monitor, whenever that's coming out, you really don't need anything else to battery wise to power the camera, and a 98 watt-hour battery should last quite a while. Now, you see the battery that's on the image right now. You can see it's pretty small, and I'm tempted to get one of those to just kind of keep in as like almost treat it as like internal battery. So because typically I'll run, I can't show you right now because I'm streaming on the Pyxis right now, and what I'll do a lot of times is, and actually on a post that I did today, you can see what I'm talking about, and I should have connected my phone to this because then I could pull up a picture. But I have a little Tilta mini V-mount plate that they sent out to me for a video for the cinema camera 6K full frame rig. But I use that because it's got some 2-pin and DTAP outs that you can use to power other accessories. And running this on rails and everything really gives you the ability to, especially with a battery that's small like this right here, you can have the V-mount plate just behind and enough clearance to still be able to use your time code and SDI ports and stuff, and run DTAP in with a right angle 2-pin whatever is a 2-pin Lima, I think is what the power in on the Pyxis is. And a lot of the cables that I found are 2-pin, just straight in. What I'm going to do though is Mutiny. If you've never heard of them, Mutiny, they make incredible accessories for all kinds of cameras, Blackmagic, RE Red, all them, the FreeFly Ember, and they also have a custom cable builder on their website where you can get. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a right angle 2-pin to another 2-pin to be able to power from the plate, and then probably a right angle to DTAP, just so I have the flexibility for depending on how I'm rigging it out. And then that allows me to run the camera off of V-mount batteries. I happen to have one right here. This is not planned at all, but I really like these batteries from Core. I've got some Velcro all over it because I don't know why I'm putting it out there on autofocus, but I have Velcro on here because I'll tape like I have the Deity timecode boxes, or sometimes whatever else. I just use Velcro to attach things sometimes because it's really quick. But I love these batteries. This is a 150 watt-hour battery. It's got a little display on the back, and if you tap it again, it can show like what your runtime is going to be left on there. And it's really nice with these batteries because once you're using the DTAP into the camera, it's not going to show you your battery percentage, but the Core, the U98X battery does show you battery percentage, which is really cool. So that's a long-winded answer to say I don't think that should be the battery solution. I think it's, look at it as you got to put a V-mount battery plate on it with rails and stuff if you want to have like a bunch of accessories and an ecosystem built around it. But if you're just running like the Pyxis monitor and that's it, all you need is the U98X battery, and you'll be all set. And that's how I plan to run it quite a bit for some projects, especially going around town and stuff where I don't need all of those accessories and stuff. Yeah. So, okay, cool. Dylan says, do you prefer the Pyxis over the Komodo X? No, I don't. I mean, I think I'm going to make a video about this. I've used so many different cameras on this YouTube channel specifically, and like I'll film like the A-roll and film different things on different cameras as a way to like test cameras out to see if they, you know, are fit the project needs or whatever. And a lot of times what I'll do is I'll just go back and watch videos like from a year ago or 2 years ago or whatever. And then I'll be like, oh man, that looked really good. What camera was that? And so I'll open up the project in Resolve because I create a new project for every YouTube video. And I'll just go in and then I'll just see like, oh yeah, that was the Pocket 6K Pro, or that was the Komodo X, or that was the R5 Mark II, or the R5 I, or the A7S III. So all that to say, Dylan, is all cameras just look so good now. It's just a matter of what is needed for a particular job. For if I needed global shutter, or if I'm doing like hard mounting to a car, or like gonna run it on a black arm, or like something crazy like Vision Creative out in Orange County with Griffin Conway, he has a motor crane, like something like that can really benefit from a global shutter because you don't get any rolling shutter artifacts. So and it helps with stabilization and stuff. So that's one reason why I would pick the Komodo X over the Pyxis. But there are times where I just prefer the look or what's needed from the Pyxis sensor and the Cinema Camera 6K full frame. Open gate is really cool, and it's helpful if you're shooting for 16:9, but the client wants to do something for social. You do have a little bit more height to work with. That's not a solution. I mean, ideally you want to just pick a format and go with it, but that's not something that clients always understand. And you know, it's not something that's worth educating after the fact. If they say, hey, can you make something for social? Be like, you know what? Yeah, sure. If you shoot on open gate, that's super helpful. So, and then other anamorphic settings as well, like the Cinema Camera 6K full frame and the Pyxis, you know, have that 3x2 sensor that you're able to record with. So that gives you a lot of, that gives you more anamorphic setting or flexibility with anamorphic lenses, because you're, you know, it's a full frame sensor. And so you can use stuff like even Super 35 anamorphic lenses like the Pyxis, like the Nanomorphs. I made a video on this not too long ago, where if you go into the 4x3 setting and a Super 35 and then use the 1.5x lenses, like I have the Nanomorph zooms, love those lenses. You get like a 2:1 aspect ratio natively, which is really cool. So it just depends. They all look so good, and with the Pyxis having really good internal audio, I'm running the audio directly into the Pyxis right now, and it looks really, really, really good and sounds really, really good. So all right. Cool. Comments are coming in. Y'all keep commenting, because this is how the stream's going to keep chugging along, because I'm not good to just like do like stand-up comedy. I'm not clever enough to do this, so I can't just talk without having a topic. I mean, I have some topics, but all right. So still waiting for Condor Blue Pyxis cage over 4 months now. That's a long time to wait on a cage. Like, unless it's like revolutionary, I feel like that's a really long time. I don't know. Am I upgrading the Komodo X to Z? It's a great question, and that's one of the other things that I actually had prepared for this video. More on that in a second. Tyler, since you have an R5 II, does it make sense to upgrade to the Nikon mount on your Komodo X? What lenses are you wanting to adapt that you can't currently? And then King Crook, I'm upgrading to Z and getting a second KXZ makes filming easier. Okay, I wanted to kind of bring all those comments into the discussion all at once because they all relate. So let's go over here and talk about the red Komodo X and the V Raptor X moving to the Z-mount. So made a video on this last week and it's pretty exciting. And yeah, it's really cool that they're doing the Z-mount. The Z-mount is really nice because you can adapt E-mount lenses to it as well. So it's not just the Nikon mount lenses that you can use. You also have the ability to utilize the E-mount lenses, and it's not necessarily the Sony glass that would be really exciting to use, but I'm thinking about like some of those lens manufacturers that make lenses in E-mount and not even bother with RF mount with like electronic communications and stuff. Thinking like the new Blazar, I think it's the Apex lenses. It's like a 1.3 times anamorphic lens that has autofocus, and it's an E-mount lens. I don't know if they make Z-mount or not, but that's an opportunity to utilize more lenses on the Komodo X that just wouldn't be available to you on the RF version. So yeah, I think that's what is more exciting than just having a Z-mount. But the other cool thing is the Z-mount, like Nikon's lenses are really good. I got to borrow the Z8 and their 24-70 from them last year, kind of just after NAB, and used it quite a bit for a lot of my client work for social media and stuff. And it yeah, the 24-70 is such a good lens, and you get so much more out of the lenses with the Z-mount. You can change stuff like the autofocus speed and the autofocus sensitivity. And from what I'm seeing, the autofocus does look much improved on the Z-mount with the new firmware, obviously, than previous firmware builds with the RF version. Now, I don't know if the RF is going to get any better, but I just never use RF lenses on the Komodo X. It pretty much all EF lenses, and I use like this adapter right here. This is the locking EF to RF adapter from Metabones, and this is great because even if I don't have, even if I'm using like my Leica R lenses or something, this locks it in really nicely and doesn't have that wobble that you get with like follow focus systems and whatnot. Now, my plan was to send it in, and I made a reservation for basically the next week, the week of the 24th. And I got my like notification in the email. Ooh, my kids are freaking out there. I got the notification to send it in, but I called them up and I had some questions about the conversion, because I saw the V Raptor X conversion, how they just basically slapped a new front on the cameras and that was it. And not a big deal if you have a black production model of the camera, but if you have a Stormtrooper model like me, and if you don't know what Stormtrooper means, it just means it's like a first run, a first production run of the units, and they are white instead of black. So pretty cool. I actually prefer a black production body, but I had some projects that like this was going to be super useful for, so I just got the Stormtrooper version. Now, called up Red and asked them, hey, are you gonna like color match the body, or can you change, like paint the rest of the body to make it black? Because I know some people that had, or know of some people that had the V-Raptor X Stormtrooper that actually got to get theirs painted to, or basically they changed out the panels or whatever to make it an all black camera, so it's not a mismatched camera. Unfortunately, I called Red and they said that's not something that they're doing right now. And so what I was told is basically the front panel and this side panel, for some reason, I'm not sure why, but both of these panels are going to get swapped out. So it'd be like a black front, a black side, but the rest of the body would be white. And I was like, is there a way for me to pay extra to get the whole body painted? And they said that's not something that they're offering right now. So I might actually cancel my reservation for right now and maybe try to make a reservation for later in the future. I know that's silly, but like, you know, from a resale perspective, if I ever decided to sell the Komodo X for whatever reason, I know I personally wouldn't want to buy a camera that has different looking panels and stuff, because to me, immediately my first reaction would be, what's wrong with this camera? Like what broke that required you to have to get different color looking camera? Some people might be into it, but that's just not my thing. And like, even on set, like if the client's like, why is that different colors? Like, it sounds silly, but like I've had questions like that before, like even with like blue cables on my camera. It's innocent questions, but like when you're setting things up, it's like the last thing you want to do is like, oh yeah, I couldn't get this, whatever. So that said, I was watching Scott Balcom's live stream with Phil Holland, and Phil, like when they were talking about this very subject, he said he got a message from Red, somebody at Red, like literally while they were filming the live stream, and said that they are looking into it, that to either match the paint, whether they're going to paint it or I don't know, paint it or just change the little panels out and stuff. So I think I might actually cancel my reservation, maybe make a reservation for like the very last week that they do it, to see if that's enough time for them to have decided to like look after us early adopters and be like, hey, yeah, I wouldn't like, even the like support guy I was talking to was like, yeah, I don't think I would want to have my camera looking like that. So I know there are a lot of people that have the Stormtroopers that have shared the same frustration, and I know a couple have even canceled or considered canceling their reservation because of that. So hopefully Red will look after us Stormtrooper owners out there. We'll see. But as of right now, I think I'm actually just going to cancel that reservation and wait and see what they do. It would be cool to utilize some Nikon glass, but as of right now, mostly what I use is our EF lenses anyways, because I can adapt my EF lenses to the Pyxis 6K, which is what I'm filming on right now, or the Cinema Camera 6K full frame, or the R5 Mark II, which is somewhere around in here. Yeah, so we'll see. Hopefully Red is a little cooler about it than they are right now, because I would really like to do that conversion. It would definitely be beneficial, and with their developments in Red Cine X, and even the LUTs that they provided for the Nikon, the N-Log to match to the Reds, like it's not a perfect match, but you can tell that they're really serious about making their ecosystem kind of all play together nicely together. And so, you know, I have a lot of hope and faith that that will continue to progress. And, you know, being able to have like a Z8, or maybe they'll come out with a Z8 Mark II this year or next year that has internal R3D. That would be super cool, and it'd be a lot easier to match and just have the same color pipeline. And if that were the case, then that makes a Z-mount Komodo X a lot smarter for me, because I love the Komodo X. Like, I mean, I mentioned like, what if I sell it? But like, I don't really have any plans to sell the camera, because I absolutely love that camera. It's such a great camera. So yeah, I really like the camera. I don't really want to have a mismatched color camera. That would look so dumb, and I don't care how dumb that sounds, but I don't want to pay $1,500 to have a mismatched camera. I feel like they could just paint the rest of the body or paint the front of it white or something. I don't know. But yeah, those are kind of my thoughts. Let's say, okay, that makes sense. Alex says that makes sense. I assume the Sony G Master lenses would have the same focusing issues as the RF. So I don't know. I mean, I watched CVP's video, and you know, I think the firmware is still in beta, so we'll see. But I think now that with the Z mount, Red obviously has way more control over the lens communication and everything, because they're using Nikon's communication protocol now. They're not having to work with Canon on anything, and if there's any kind of update or whatever, they don't have to like reverse engineer that. I don't know how all that works, but now they have a direct line with Nikon, obviously, so they can just be like, hey, are there any improvements? Or Nikon will be like, hey, we've made algorithm improvements. Implement this in the Red system. Cool. So we'll see. But the other cool thing is with the Nikon, the Z mount on the Red systems is you have the ability now to utilize those mirrorless lenses and still be able to swap it to a linear focusing system with manual focus. That's really cool, because right now all of the RF lenses are focused by wire. Same with like Sony lenses and stuff. And I think I have to go back and watch the CVP video, but I think he was able to change the mode from focus by wire to linear on the Sony lens. I think, don't quote me on that, I can't remember, but even on Nikon lenses, like I would just probably use like Nikon glass for this anyways, but being able to change the focus, manual focus behavior of the lens to linear as opposed to focus by wire is really cool. And you can change it from like 30 degrees all the way up to like 720 degree focus throw, which is super cool. That's really, I mean, that's like I guess that'd be like one of the advantages of focus by wire. But yeah, so there's that. And then I know that like RF lenses rely heavily on in-camera corrections that the Canon cameras obviously do. But again, Red doesn't have all of that information. I assume they don't have all the information. And so what that means is Red can't like implement any kind of corrections, the peripheral illumination correction and all that stuff in camera, because I don't know, maybe Canon's not sharing it, or maybe they didn't have the bandwidth to implement that. But on the other hand, with Nikon, my understanding is they don't use as many corrections in camera. Like the lenses don't rely on in-camera corrections, which is my understanding is why some of the Nikon lenses are bigger than like the Sony and Canon counterparts, because like optically they're ready to go out the gate, not relying on a lot of in-camera corrections. So that's another benefit of the Z mount. I keep like talking myself into not canceling my reservation as I'm talking through this, but yeah, I also want to order a Aperture 1200X, and that seems way more useful than a Nikon mount, especially since I'm primarily working in EF and PL lenses anyways. So, and then I'd have to get a bunch more adapters, which is not a big deal, but I feel like this camera, like the KX that I have right now, is pretty well set up for all that. So we'll see. I may change my mind. I've changed my mind about 20 times this weekend already. Okay, so let's see. I'd love to see those Zeiss Nano Primes on Komodo. Yeah. I love my 1.2 Z glass and the ability to control focus to a T, but can't wait to use my Nock 58 on Raptor X. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. A Panda X KX sounds cool. Yeah, see, like some people might like that, be into it, but I'm not. And like if I knew the camera was like easy enough to take apart, like the panels, then I would just paint it myself. I would just like rattle can it and like do my own like paint job on it or something. But I don't know enough about that. I'm not gonna be the one to experiment with that. So yeah, I agree. Absorb Production says, yeah, I agree about the mismatching parts. It's like a car with a mismatched door color, and you know they were in an accident. Yeah, I mean, it's like something you could explain, but like, why open the conversation up if you don't have to? And is kind of my thought on the matter. All right. Well, the comments have slowed down, so keep the comments coming. I am still here, and I know some of you are still here as well. But while we are chatting on this, I wanted to talk about what I'm using to live stream with, and that is the Rodecaster video. So historically, in my live streaming career, which I've probably live streamed like 15 times maybe, I've used the Blackmagic A10 Mini and the and then I ran it into OBS, and like every single time I did that, I had a problem, whether it was audio or some weird glitch, or like, I know OBS is powerful, but I was never successful with getting a good live stream. Saying that, I think I'm assuming this live stream is pretty successful so far, but yeah, I just didn't like it. I mean, the A10 was great. Like, I didn't really have any problems with that, but like it kind of relied on software to do the things that I've been doing on this stream. And that's the cool thing about this Rodecaster video. So the Rodecaster video is, I've pulled it up on a page. Let me go to right here. So this is the Rodecaster video. I got to see like a sneak peek of it at the NAB show last year. They hosted a pretty private dinner, and there were a handful of us there, it was really cool that they invited me to it. And they showed this thing off, the Rodecaster video. And like while I was going through it, I had pretty limited knowledge with regards to live streaming. It's just like, it's not something that I do like on the weekly or monthly, or like it's probably been over a year since I've done a live stream. And so like when I was looking, I was like, okay, another switcher, like, okay, cool. And there's a screen on there, that's cool. But then they started going through the presentation and showing like all the, basically like you really don't need like the Rodecaster software, which is what I have on my screen right now. You don't really need all that to even use it, but using the Rodecaster software in conjunction with the Rodecaster video, it makes it super powerful. And so like you can see right here on the top. I'm going to get me out of the screen. You don't need to see me right now. But you can see like the bottom row here, you have 1 through 6, numbers 1 through 6. And then this button right here, which is like a fade to black button. And then over here, you have A through G, alpha through golf. And the bottom is essentially your inputs. So you have, so like you have your input 1, it's like HDMI 1, all that stuff. And we can see like what it looks like on the back of the unit right here, probably. Is that it? Nope. Let's see. I just dropped my mouse. That was cool. All right, I'm back. So you can see, whoops. Where are we? All right, here it is. So you can see the inputs right here. We've got four inputs, HDMI, and then you've got a couple of USB-C inputs. So this can take like a webcam or something, or a USB microphone. So that's pretty cool. So that these inputs kind of correlate to the 1 through 6 on the bottom. And yeah, sorry, Ricky, about the mouse. It got me too. Yeah, so those are kind of your inputs. So if you just wanted to like switch directly from like, camera 1 to camera 2, blah, 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 blah. But the really powerful thing that I've found with the Rodecaster video is this top row right here. And these correlate to scenes and also different functions as well. So they correlate to different scenes. So like for me, I've pretty much exclusively been using the scenes, and I built the scenes out beforehand in Rodecaster Central. What's it called? Rode Central. And so I have it just here on my desk, but in Rode Central, I've built up these different scenes to have different functionality. So like this is scene A, and then like scene B is like if I wanted to bring in somebody on like a FaceTime call, I just have it. Sorry, I had to mute myself, and I need to create a hotkey with just to mute myself. But like for this right here, for this scene right here is my Bravo key, and that just allows me to, like, if I wanted to bring in somebody on FaceTime or like a Zoom call or Google Chat or whatever and bring them into the live stream, this is the way that I could figure that I could do that. And this is just like a full screen grab of the HDMI input from my computer. I promise this, I'm making this sound way more confusing than it is, but like if I can figure that out, like it's pretty guaranteed that like you can figure it out, because I'm not really smart with these things. And so there's like different scenes. So like when I've been switching to show you the computer screen, it's just blah, blah, blah. Like this is the computer screen without me, and this is this one. And then I've got a couple other ones that I have for like, if I need to like step away from the computer, the stream for a second, I could like roll a video. Yeah, so it's a really cool and powerful switcher. And from this, like, I don't need to use OBS to create scenes and all that, because I can just do everything within the Rode Central app, and like got like a whole like command station right here. But this is like would be really powerful for like a podcast, like filming podcasts and stuff, because like live podcast or just studio podcast, because you can bring in lower thirds and all that kind of stuff. There is, I don't think I have any graphics on here right now, but there are just so many great things about it that, like, I don't know, it just seems simplified to me. Like once I understood, like once I plugged it in launched Road Central and started taking a look at all this, then I started seeing like the real power of this tool versus using like the A10 Mini or A10 whatever into something like Ecamm or StreamYard or whatever those other. And those things are good, but like I don't live stream enough to like want to pay for any kind of service like that. And this thing is great. Now, like there are like some limitations to it, I would say, and some things that I've been finding. Number one, it's only HD, so you can't stream in 4K, which is a bummer, and it doesn't accept a 4K signal. Now, well, I take that back. It does accept a 4K signal, but it down converts it to HD. And I asked them about this, and I think like technically it might be, they said like it's a really, really powerful machine. And so like, I think that's one of the limitations of it being HDI or HDMI, or sorry, HD only, is because of all the processing that it's already doing with processing 4K. It just wouldn't be able to handle that. But it'd be really cool if you're like, hey, I just want to set it to 4K for like, and only have one input, and be able to have like 4K is one input, and then that maybe means you can only have one other input available to you, and that's HD only or something. That would be maybe cool. I don't know. And maybe you could say like, yeah, I'll do 4K, but I'll just limit you to one input. And for like live streaming, that might be fine. But now that I've been playing with this more, just like I think from a viewer experience, you can tell me in the chat if you disagree. But I think it's really cool. Like when I'm talking about whatever, I can just bring it up on the screen, and I think that's super helpful. Or if I had a guest on, then I can bring the guest on. So I think all these different things are really cool. I just wish it was 4K, because 4K is kind of the future, and it's honestly kind of the norm. Like most videos now, even uploaded to YouTube, are in 4K. So King Crook, no SDI. That's another bummer about it, is it's just HDMI. I wish maybe they'll come out with like a Rodecaster Video Pro that does 4K, and that's obviously going to increase the cost, obviously, but maybe they could also incorporate like one SDI and one HDMI or something like that. I mean, there's converters that you can get to if you really need it. Like what I'm doing right now out of the Pyxis is I'm just running my I've just got a micro SDI to HDMI 3G converter from Blackmagic Design, and you can, that's how I've gotten around it. So it's not that big of a deal, but I do think the 4K thing would definitely be really useful. So can you trigger graphics or videos on it? Or if you wanted to put up lower thirds, yes, you can. I don't think I have any lower thirds right now, but let's see here. Let's see. Let me see. Let me just like bring in. I have like a couple of pictures. Here we go. Yeah, so I have. There is a way. There we go. All right. Yeah, look, boom, subscribe. Yeah, I just brought in this. I'll leave that message up there for everybody. Hint, hint. But yeah, so if you look at the this little icon right here, I've got the program out of this on a 7-inch monitor, so it's kind of hard to see, but it is the second to top button here that are little layers and graphics. I think that's what it's called. And so if you touch that, you can actually assign all that A through G bank. That's no longer a scene. You can actually put you can actually put graphics on A through G, which is really cool. And then on top of that, there's like this little slate looking button. And that's another thing that allows you to put media and stuff on there. And they just came out with an update, a firmware update, it like last week or something. And what's really cool, and of course, I forgot to do it because like I was like, oh, it's 12:59 or it's already 1 o'clock and I haven't started the stream yet. But what's really cool is that little slate button is if you load media into that, this would have been like the perfect use case. And I set it up, but just totally spaced on actually implementing it. Was like you can load a video. So I loaded up like that intro. I don't know if you were here when I started the stream, but when I started the stream, I had just like a 2-minute countdown basically. And that 2-minute countdown had like a video playing and just said like live stream will start in 2.5 minutes or whatever. And using the media functionality, you can actually set that to that media. Once you trigger it, you can set that to play once and that's it, to loop it. Or now, this is a new thing, is you can actually set it to switch to another scene or another input or something. So like instead of like, you know, in the beginning of the stream, seeing me like click there, like it'll automatically just play through the file and then switch to this camera angle, which is scene A for me. And that's really cool. That's something that was, is a new update, and yeah, it's pretty sweet. And then I think in the new update, they like allowed you to put fading on the graphics and stuff, which you couldn't do before. There's also some more I/O in the switcher. If you go to the back here, so you can see there, right here, you have headphone out. So if you're running a podcast or a stream with two people, they can monitor themselves independently, which is cool. And then this right here, this 1/4 inch is to, oh, those are to other monitors, I guess. So yeah, that's really cool. And then there's an Ethernet here, which is nice. That's actually how I'm streaming right now, which is nice. So, technically possibly less interference. And then like to top it all off, there are these right here, these inputs. So these are some Neutrik XLR combo jacks. So you can do XLR or a 1/4 inch in. And I'm running audio directly into camera right now, but if you wanted to run microphones directly into it, you can. And this has the same preamps as their Rodecaster 2. So really powerful preamps in there, and a lot of like their what do they call it? Their Apex processing. So you can do all kinds of things like compression and de-esser and like 3-band EQ and high pass filter and stuff like that. So a lot of really powerful functionality into it. And like, not only is it like a really powerful switcher, albeit HD only, but like, I don't know, HD kind of looks fine for like a lot of things. I mean, we all have 4K. A lot of us have 4K TVs now. We just got one last year after 10 years. But being a really powerful switcher is like, okay, they could have stopped there, but not only that, but they put in 2 XLR 1/4 inch combo jacks. That basically is like the Rodecaster 2. Like, that's pretty cool. It sounds really good. I just my camera set up to accept XLR in, and I had everything already kind of set up for that anyway. So, and I was curious to how it sounded going through the Pyxis. So this is SM7B going into the Pyxis through a cloud lifter. So you can hear how that sounds, but I think it sounds pretty good. And gosh, the Pyxis just looks so good. Okay, so all right, so BT Hathaway, there are very few devices in the market which output 4K except for broadcast level equipment, and the prices jump a lot. For instance, the 4K version of the ATEM is $1,795 US. Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, it would significantly, like, I wouldn't be surprised if this thing was like, if it was a 4K switcher, then honestly, I could see this thing being like $2,500 or more, because there's a lot of, yeah, I mean, just like you said, I mean, these things are expensive. But I think there is a market for that. I think it's just much smaller than the market looking to get into this Rodecaster video. And that, like, the price tag, like, initially sounds like a lot. What is it? It's $1,190. So basically $1,200. So that's not cheap by any means. I mean, that's not inexpensive. But if it were 4K, it would be 2, maybe 3 times the price with everything that it's doing. And like take it from me, I'm not like a professional live streamer. I'm not even like a weekly or monthly live streamer. I'm just somebody that, when I want to live stream, I just want something that's like very little friction. And I called Josh Satin earlier this week, last week, maybe late last week, and was just trying to figure this thing out. And like, I had some like very specific questions, but like, generally speaking, like I just like plugged it in and got it running. Oh, I asked him if he could like FaceTime me, because I was trying to figure out how to get like FaceTime onto this. I think it's a really fantastic switcher, and the fact that like the Rode Central, basically like you do everything. Like if you're streaming like this, like I've got Rode Central up, I've got my mixer, I've got everything over here, and I can see, and I could technically, like, if there was somebody else here, they could actually be actively changing scenes out on the fly and creating new scenes as this progresses. Like say I had like somebody that I was going to call in, and I wanted to make a lower third for them. Like if somebody else was like behind the scenes, like, yeah, I'll make a lower third for them real quick, put it on there, and then we could incorporate, stuff like live, like on the fly, which would be really cool. One thing I wish you could do is I wish you could like create text just within it, like without having to use like PNGs or anything, and that way you could type like a lower third or something. But I feel like that's something that's so probably wouldn't be that used. It's not not that worth exploring. But yeah, it like the software is so powerful. Like that's what I'm trying to get to, is this software is so powerful, and you just connect your stream key directly to the to Rode Central, and then you can just stream directly from this thing. And like when I started the live stream, I clicked start stream like on the actual device, and that was it. Like it really is a pretty remarkable piece of equipment. And and then you can also like record your ISOs and stuff with like an external drive if you wanted to. I'm not recording anything because it's just live stream. And then so there's another question. Ricky said, what do the knobs do? So yeah, there are 2 knobs here. You can see on the website here on B&H. And let's see if I can get these 2 knobs here. Yeah, so this one just kind of helps you navigate through this menu. This is a touchscreen, which is really cool, but this just helps you navigate through the menu and just dial in like levels and stuff. And then this right here, this other one that's blue, just is your monitor output levels. So you can toggle between your headphone in 1 and 2, and then your stereo out monitor mix. So so that's really cool. And you know, it having the ability to being able to run monitor out means you could use this for like live presentations and stuff. So you could like have stuff queued up for like a graduation ceremony or some kind of thing where there's different segments and you want to run, you know, an intro video or a bumper or whatever, and you can just kind of cycle through those like a church service or something. And yeah, so it's all pretty cool. It's a really cool thing. I mean, I'm going to make a video on it that's more polished than me rambling on, which it'll still be me rambling because that's how I do YouTube. But yeah, it's super cool. All right, Woofy, is it Woofy or Woofle? So I got the chat up, but I can't really see it. Hey, thanks for dropping by. I saw your comment earlier, and I accidentally skipped over it. So, but yeah, thanks for dropping by. Yeah. What else? There was something else about this Rodecaster that was really cool that I wanted to mention. Yeah, oh yeah, and then there's there's two HDMI outs as well, and it's pretty powerful because you can set those HDMI outs to do other things. So, like right now, I've got one of the HDMI outs going directly to one of my monitors, or just like a 7-inch monitor, just right next to the camera lens, and that's just for me to be able to, like, if I had somebody on if I want to have somebody on like what I was saying, like this, like right here, like if like Brandon, Caffeinated Cameras, like if he called in and I was able to set it up, yeah, that's why I have the monitor here. So I was just like, what am I talking about? So what's cool about this is you can set up the HDMI A right here. Right now I've got it to program view. So program view is like what you're seeing right now. But I could change it to any of the camera inputs or a multi-view. And what that multi-view allows me to see is, I don't know that. Oh, here's, you know what, multi-view would, I don't know how to show it on the screen, but I do want to change that back to program because that's like super Inception-y. But what it basically allows me to do is see all of the different scenes and all of the different inputs and stuff, so that, you know, this is really good if like you had a live director or somebody else kind of running the show. And yeah, so wait, hold on. Brandon says he can join if he wants to. Okay, cool. Yeah, Brandon, why don't you join in? I'm going to, if everybody wants to stand by for like just like a couple minutes, I'll play a video of Pyxis and cinema camera footage on the Leica Rs for a little bit, so while we get this dialed in. So yeah, if everybody's cool with that, stand by and be back in just a minute. All right, false alarm. Brandon is still setting up. I thought he was ready to go. While we are waiting, we can keep chatting about whatever. Now, any other? I mean, come on, yeah. Let's get some questions going on the stream. I think. Oh, yeah, waffle like waffle. Okay, cool. Waffle, good stream quality. Thank you. Yeah, I'm streaming with the Pyxis 6K and SDI out into a micro converter, and then yeah, just into the HDMI in. So Brandon says sorry. No worries. If you can't get it figured out, like don't. It's not a big deal. This was like super like I just put you on the spot. I guess you put you on the spot technically because you said you can if you join. But let's see. I'm trying to think of oh, so and then for audio, I am running this SM7B into the Cloud Lifter and then into the Pyxis 6K. That was another thing I wanted to mention with this Rodecaster, is you can set a delay with the audio, and so if I was running this microphone directly into the Rodecaster video, which I will probably end up doing, just so I can, that way it's just like one less thing that I have to like set up, so it'll kind of like always be ready to go. You can actually like set a frame delay on it so that like, you know, your audio is coming in quicker or yeah than the video feed, or there's something, but you can actually set a frame offset or delay either in milliseconds or by frames so that your audio and your video will link up. Yeah, and then you can set the frame rate of your stream, which is really cool as well, because I think the A10 Mini, I think those like 30p for some reason. I think Josh was telling me he just really liked 30p. So yeah, it's just really cool that you can set all that up in the software. I'm trying to remember where it was. I was going to show you on the screen here. Let's see, video. Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, so right here you can actually select the frame rate to like whatever your cameras are, which is really cool. And I actually ran into an issue because initially I was like, I just want to use my R5 II, which I have it's on a tripod over there. I wanted to run the R5 II initially just because yeah, it was just like, I don't know, I like the camera. It looks good, and everything looked good, but for some reason the R5 II, and I don't understand why, and I don't even know if you can change it, but its frame rate on the HDMI out is like stuck at 60p. Like I've found nowhere to be able to change it. The only HDMI settings is either auto 1080p or 1080i, and like nobody wants to look at an interlaced live stream, so that wasn't going to happen. But it was just like super weird that you couldn't change it out. And maybe like if somebody in this live stream knows how to change the frame rate of the HDMI out, let me know. And like before you jump to conclusions, I was like, my frame rate in camera was 24p or 23.98, but when I brought it into the Rodecaster video and I confirmed, you can actually confirm like what your inputs are, which is really cool. There's like a little I button. So if we go back over to this and we look at this button right here, if you actually click that button, if I was smart enough, I would have set up a second camera so you can look at all this stuff. But if you click that button and then click like whatever, like your input one, it'll actually show you what your input frame rate is. And it was showing 1080 60, which was super random. I really didn't understand. Didn't really understand that. So, which is a bummer, because like it would have been really nice to just like keep my R5. Like I usually just use my R5 like for YouTube. I just keep it tucked away, kind of in the corner right here. But now I have the Pyxis on my Zockler tripod, and it's way more intense. Let's see. Let's see. All right. Do you think a non-technical client would notice the image quality difference between the Komodo X and the Pyxis? No, not at all. Not at all. And in fact, I ran the Komodo X with last year for a project for one of my clients, and ran the cinema camera 6K as a B camera, and they could never tell. Like actually looking the footage back, they could never tell. They just like the video. I mean, obviously there's like some work to like get them to match, but it was really easy to get them to match. But yeah, I've never had a client look at me or look at the footage and be like, you sure that's the red? That like, literally only us know like about cameras. Like producers are a different story, like especially with agencies. An agency may know a little bit more, like they may request like a red camera package or an RE camera package or whatever, but like direct to client stuff, unless they're like just a hobbyist and they're into video, like they don't, there's no reason for them to even like care about that. Like you just show up with your equipment and your camera gear and make the image look good and make it sound good. And yeah, they're never gonna know unless it's like a fringe case. Like one time I had a client job that I got on set, and like I had my Komodos with me at the time. I had 2 Komodos at the time, and he was like, "Oh man, that's a cool camera. That's a red. I know what a red is. That's really cool. I just bought a Nikon Z9." And I was like, "Oh, cool." And he's like, "Yeah, that's it." But like that was like the most interaction I've really had with like somebody that was technically like in the know-how. Usually the clients are too busy doing their own thing. All right, give me 1 second. I think Brandon is ready. I'm going to queue up that video again and try it. This is what's really cool about this thing. Is like I can queue a video really easily while I'm getting things set up, and it's like a little intermission break, commercial break, featuring my video. All right. Brandon, can you hear me? Oh, I don't have your audio. I can't hear you. Let's see here. Hey, we're trying things out on the fly. This is intense. It's all right. Hey, I'll just be right here, and you figure out. We'll just I'll keep chatting on the stream, and you get that figured out. And once you start chatting, once you start talking, then we'll pivot to you. All right, B. Cool. All right. I think there's a way to go full screen. I just can't remember where the button is. It's just that. No. How do we do full screen? I can't remember how to do that. All right. So the question was, how much is the okay? Someone said, how much is the swap? It depends on the camera. So I think the Komodo X is 1600, and I think the Raptor X is 1700. So let's see here. Just trying to get a boom. Okay, cool. So while Brandon is getting that all set up, this is really cool. Whoa, what just happened? Looks like he might have just left. That is so Inception-y, though. Okay. That was super weird. Oh, I think he, oh, you have a gnarly delay? Well, we should be able to just, like, chat over the thing, right? Yeah, he's hitting us with the Matrix for sure. That's hilarious. All right. No, I don't have you still. Well, it's weird. I thought I tested the Google Shoutout. Google Meet. I thought that was going to work. Y'all are the real ones for sticking around for this. This is hilarious. 17 watching. Let's go, y'all. So the other thing with the Rodecaster that I wish was like easier to do was the I wish I could bring in YouTube comments. That'd be a lot easier to do than like reading them off the thing. It'd be really cool to do that, just to bring the comments in. And then it'd be really cool if the Rodecaster Road Central thing allowed us to like bring in a guest like via a link. Like I know like you can do that with Ecamm. I think that would be cool, but it just doesn't seem like you can do that quite yet. Brandon, you ready? Let's see here. Let me swap over to him. All right, I still can't hear you. I don't know what's going on. Let me start like unmuting things. This is probably a bad idea. Scene audio. USB. Well, that's embarrassing. I thought I knew what I was doing here. Can anybody else hear Brandon? Let me know in the comments if you can hear Brandon. We're learning this all together now. We are learning this all together. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm not getting a signal. This is so weird. Let's see. Did I mute you on the actual chat? That'd be hilarious. Is your like microphone muted on the actual Google chat? No? Okay, nobody can hear. All right. That's so fun. Let's see here. Is your audio set up to on the settings for? I wonder if you like put AirPods or something in. This is totally my fault too. This is all my fault probably. Did you try setting it to Wumbo? I have no idea what that means. That could be a joke. That could be serious. But this is hilarious. You look really good though, Brandon. Weird. So I tested this out with FaceTime and it worked. And then I did a Google chat and it worked for me as well. But for some reason, unless I've just like messed up some settings or something. So this could be me, y'all. Like this could 100% just be me. Let me see. Let me bring this over to my other monitor and see if this is just me being. Let's see here. Yeah, I can't hear you, dude. I don't know what's going on. This is just this is how things go. So he says he has a really bad delay. Is the delay coming, the really bad delay in your Google chat, or is it in? I can't hear anything. That's a bummer. Oh wait, what it says there's like audio coming in. That's so weird. You know what? I wonder if this does anything. Let's see. Live mix. You know, I remember I had to like do something. This is awesome. Thanks for hanging out with me, y'all. Let's see. Sound. Rodecaster. Yeah. You trying to talk, Brandon? We're gonna figure this out, guys. Rodecaster video chat. Anson, what's up, man? Thanks for joining. What monitor am I using for the Pyxis? Right now, I'm using the 702 Touch, and I am waiting on the Pyxis monitor. Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, I can't hear you at all. Hey, you want to try just like FaceTiming me real quick? I don't know why I'm trying to talk to him through this thing. So I'm using the, 1 second, Brandon. I'm using the 702 Touch right now, but, yeah, over SDI, but I'm waiting on the Pyxis monitor, so I'm trying to text Brandon, give him an idea. All right. No, that's weird. It's like, was working fine. The microphone works. Oh yeah, this is like just 100% not bringing in. Okay, this is totally on me then, y'all. Let's see. Let's see here. Is anybody hearing that? No? Okay. Asked this earlier, but you may have missed it. What lens are you using on the Pyxis? Oh, on the Pyxis for live. I'm sorry about that. I'm using the Sigma Art 24-70. It's the EF version. It's the 2.8. It's an awesome lens. I use this lens probably more than anything. Gosh, just such a good lens. Like I've attempted to get another one just because they're so good. All right, let's see. Let's see. For some reason, it's not letting me. It's not letting me bring in the thing. Oh, Brandon had to leave. Okay. All right, we'll try Brandon in a second. I got an idea. Wolfel worked in IT, so enjoy the troubleshooting. Okay, let's see here. All right, I'm trying to bring him in on FaceTime. This just must be my something I changed on my, because I can't hear it all. Let's see here. What did I do? I must have done something and was like, oh yeah, that's easy. Let's see here. Right. I swear this worked like 2 days ago when I tried this. All right, so Anson, you just picked up the Pyxis. Trying to hold off on a new monitor. Seen something about the USB to HDMI with it. I don't know if you have it. I tried that once and it never worked for me, so I gave up. I have an HDMI adapter somewhere. I have this thing right here, and it didn't work. It works for like plugging up to the switcher here, but it's like for my phone, so I know the this thing works, but for some reason I don't know why it doesn't work with let's see here. How did I get this to work? It'd be cool if like somebody from Rode was on here and be like, oh yeah, you got to do this. Oh, Brandon wants to try this again at some other point, but he thinks this is like killing my live stream. I mean, come on, like nobody cares. If they cared, they wouldn't be here anymore. And more people are on the live stream now, so. All right, let me see here. Okay, let's see. All right, I'm going to. All right, so I've got Brandon on a Google Chat, which is awesome. But for some reason, I'm not getting any audio. Into camera. Or I'm not getting his audio into the chat, but for some reason, like it was working before. Oh wait, Brandon, talk for me.
Yeah, what's up?
All right, put some headphones on. I can hear the echo, but.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go get headphones. I'm sorry.
All right, guys, I think we got this sorted out. I think. Are y'all getting an echo at all? This is hilarious, y'all. Boom. All right. While we wait for Brandon, I think I can hear his speakers right here. Like, I think that's what I'm hearing. And I don't think he wanted to turn the UI off so he could flex that he has a Monstro that he's using to stream with. But I think that might be the problem. I think the echo is maybe the microphone and from his room picking up the audio. My audio. I think that's the problem. All right.
Dude.
Okay.
You hear me?
Yeah. We can see all your UI overlay, and I
don't know how to get rid of it off of the Monstro.
Oh yeah, no, I just figured you were. I just said you were probably trying to flex that you were streaming on a Monstro.
No, I mean that is a flex, I guess, but an unintended one. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thanks for joining and sorting all this out.
Sorry about the circus.
No, that's cool. I mean, if everybody's here now. I think we had.
How many you got? I can't even watch your live stream. The delay was like 30 seconds.
Yeah, it is. It's like 20 or 30 seconds. I don't know how to fix that.
Is that Rode's fault?
No, I chose like normal latency because it's supposed to give you better quality.
Bro. Get the Google Fiber already.
Oh, dude, I've got fast internet, but when it said like ultra low latency, I was like, oh, obviously that. It said like, oh, the video quality is worse or something. I don't do this enough. I don't get paid enough for this.
Okay, we're gonna
at all.
We got to do this a little more regularly because I would love to do more of these.
Well, I want to do like I would love to utilize this this platform and this like live stream as a podcast, kind of, you know, just to bring in people.
Samesies.
Like, yeah, that's what I wanted to do. This would be really cool.
We just got to get the delay thing because I can't see any of the questions coming from your.
Well, so I have like another laptop, and I have the stream up, and it's just on mute, and that's what I did.
Smart. That's what I'm gonna do. You genius. I mean, other than all the things you failed at today.
Yep. Well,
that's pretty genius, though.
There's some things I get paid for.
Let's see if I can do that as well. Can you still hear me too? No.
Yeah. Well, I did for a second, and then it did not. Oh, dude, just go to the YouTube video and just go like click mute on the actual YouTube video page.
That's what I'm doing. Just 1 second.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry. Gosh.
This is my first rodeo.
All right, now you're coming through. All right, I'm gonna boost your levels up a little bit, everybody. Okay. Hopefully that'll be okay.
B Money, are you upgrading to KX to Z? I just finished the script on the entire like thought process. So
I can't wait to see that.
I can't give you a yes or no yet.
I can't wait to see it.
Me and Tyler have been talking about this ad nauseum for the last like 2 days.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I was talking about it earlier.
The only reason he doesn't want to do it is because God, this delay is driving me nuts.
Just look at the chat. That's all you have to look at.
No. The delay is coming through the actual audio. There's a delay going right to me and you.
Oh, really?
But like anyway, yeah, out of the 4 plates, they have to replace the side and the front plate with a different color.
Yeah, it's so I was talking about this earlier.
Oh,
so
okay.
It's this right here, like these two, like this side and this side. So like this, all of top, side, bottom, and like the IO, it looks like will like be untouched, which is kind of silly. And I like, yeah, I don't know. Like if I was,
are they?
I wonder if like
still getting an echo.
No, I don't think so. I think it was the I think it was just we could hear your speakers.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Well,
headphones for the win.
Yeah, that's why I had to put these on. I look like Joe Rogan now with the podcast.
Dude, you got some cool people in this chat. How did you manage that?
I don't know. That's actually a really good question. That's a really good question. Yeah, we've got
no, you're great, T.
Got 16, 17 concurrent viewers. Got 12 likes.
Let's go.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Is the super chat available there? Do you see that on there?
You need me to donate money?
No, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, get on my. Well, I turned monetization off because I didn't want to like have rolls. I didn't want to have like mid like like an ad pop up while I was doing the live stream. So I spent all my time figuring out how to connect to it.
I just sent you some apology money.
Oh gosh. I did. Yeah, that's how you ask your friends if for money. You just say, "Hey, does this work?"
Yeah, does this work? Does the super chat option work?
Hey, does Apple Cash work?
You sly son of a.
I'll use that.
Shit, did I give you 2?
Huh?
Or is there just 1 there?
Oh, I don't know. I just saw 2 come back.
All right. Well, I meant to send 1. Is that like a setting you've put up?
I don't. If that's the setting, that's an awesome setting.
Oh, you're gonna make so much money if you were actually more popular.
No, I think you just sent it twice on accident.
I hit the button once. I'm gonna have to ask for a refund from somebody.
I don't know how to do it.
All right. This is the greatest live stream I've ever been a part of,
This is a
for
great.
sure.
This is a great live stream. You're right.
Thank God Brandon Washington's live stream has not doubled up on the money I sent him yesterday.
That's a good thing. I'll just Venmo you.
Oh no, dude, don't you dare.
Um. Oh, Michael Drowley's in the house. What's up, man? He's from the land down under. I think you're in Melbourne, right? I think Michael's in Melbourne. Brandon flexing with the donos.
Donos.
I don't know what that means. What lens are you using right now?
The almighty Sigma 28 Art.
Wiley says I got to roll out. This is getting worse by the second. Yeah, it is. Yeah, you're right. This is a good opportunity to leave anybody. I made no promises that this would be good. But now that we're here,
yeah, let's do this.
Now that we're here, you don't want to talk about the Z-mount conversion yet because you're making your video.
No, we totally can.
But yeah, I was talking about it earlier.
I was just being a dork.
I think in a lot of ways it's really good, but I'm just sitting here like most of what I shoot on are PL and EF lenses for the most part right now. I would love to use Z-mount lenses as well, but like right now I'm like that would require me to get more adapters and obviously pay for the conversion. And like I feel like there's just a lot of work and money involved in something that I don't know that I would be utilizing enough. Now, if I had like a Z8 in my kit, for example, and those are starting to match up a lot better with what Red has been doing what Nikon's been doing to their mirrorless line, and what Red has been doing in terms of like, obviously there's the knowledge share going on with the LUTs that they've made for the Nikon for N-Log, and then also in Red Cine X you have the ability. I tried it in the beta, and every time I bring in a Nikon RAW or a RAW file, it crashes. So I've not actually been able to try it or test it out. I was hoping to, but but when all those kinks get worked out, the ability to put it through Red Cine X, and hopefully that same magic can be brought over to DaVinci Resolve for Nikon RAW and the RAW tab, like in DaVinci Resolve, to be able to change it to red wide gamut lock 3G10 and have the.
They got to roll it out in stages.
Yeah, but if that's the first stage, saying okay, yeah, we can actually get this done, we can actually do this, then and bringing it in, that's like that'd be a way to kind of get like R3D in the Nikon cameras without having to actually put R3D like internally. Like you would just have it transcoded kind of, or like whatever the term is in Resolve, which would be really cool.
As a person that's not heavily invested into Nikon, and by heavily invested I mean I'm not invested in anything in any degree whatsoever. I don't even have RF lenses at the moment. It is kind of a hard. Is this a good way to invest my $1,700?
Yeah.
Because if I do, I know I'm committing to Z lenses for Sony E at some point, because then why else would I do this? And then I'm also in a way kind of committing to Nikon mirrorless cameras down the line. And right now, as good as the Z8 is, it's not so good compared to like my S5 II where I'm like, crap, I want to lose the money getting rid of the L mount glass that I have, the S5 II. Like I'm having to exchange a lot
Yeah.
now for what could be in the future. And that is kind of a scary proposition
Yeah.
because right now what I have is totally good enough. But there are some very interesting, super tiny lenses that both Sigma and Nikon make,
Mm-hmm.
both for the Sony E mount and the Nikon Z. If the autofocus is much improved, that has me going, it's probably worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's,
But it's a big if, you know?
yeah. And you make a, like, you bring up a good point of like, it's, and I touched on this a little earlier. Like, it's not just the Z mount glass that's out there that kind of makes it an interesting thing. It's a lot of the E mount glass out there that, even if autofocus is not the greatest, like there's still some really cool E mount lenses out there that, you know, they don't make them in RF, and they don't make them in Z, and so that's still that's still like one way to bring in, you know, more lenses into your kit. But at that point, like, is that a specialty thing? Like, is that something you're like, okay, you know what, I'll just rent the Z-mount Komodo X or the Z-mount V Raptor X with this special set of lenses, like, and build that into the project quote or something. So that's kind of what I've been thinking through. And but like, for the most part, I'm pretty much in EF lens world, and like I'm planning on making a video on this soon. And I've been sitting on this topic for like 2 years, and I keep remembering about the video when like a new camera or something comes out. And that's like why I just live with, not live with, like, that's why I invest in EF and PL lenses, because those lenses can be adapted to pretty much any camera system out there. And sometimes you'll lose like autofocus or something, and you know, no big deal for me. I mean, it's not that huge of a deal, but like, my EF lenses are never going to be focused by wire. Like, they're always going to be linear focus. And you know, like the Leica R lenses, for example, you know, those are manual lenses anyways, but they're EF mount, and they can be adapted, you know, they're EF. So I'll like, now it's like, okay, I have EF lenses, but now that's cool. But like, if I get into a new camera system, I just have to get another, like a new lens mount adapter, and that's it. Instead of jumping into a whole new ecosystem of lenses. And there are obviously like benefits to getting native glass. Like, I'm not going to pretend that there's not. And, you know, that's just the nature of, you know, how technology goes and stuff. But like, is that necessary for a lot of work out there? No. And for me, EF lenses are perfectly suitable. Like on the Blackmagic cameras, like I bought that Sigma EF adapter for both cameras. And then I just got the DZO, it's called like the Octopus adapter or something. It's like it's like a locking EF. It almost looks like a PL adapter, but it's a locking EF to L mount, and got that specifically for the Leica R's, because the mounts on those, some of them are sim-modded, and those I need to buy the Duclos ones, because the sim-mod ones are not that great, but they're like kind of wobbly, so that locking EF like really helps. And for some reason Metabones doesn't make one, which is kind of a bummer. So that's kind of my rant on lenses.
Oh, sorry. I'm kind of there with you right now. I have a ton of EFs. I've got a huge line of Sigma Arts. I just finished shooting a video with the 18-35, all on autofocus, and it worked fantastic.
Is that on the new beta firmware?
Yeah, I'm on 2.0.
Okay.
And
it's
so,
better?
yeah, I think it's not a huge improvement, but I do see an improvement. And for all of the talking head where I'm, in front of the lens, the autofocus doesn't need to be crazy because I'm not flying around.
Yeah.
The only times I'm really behind the camera, I'm using PL lenses or my M lenses, which is all manual anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to use autofocus, but that autofocus would have to be a pretty substantial jump for me to go, all right, on a Komodo X, I'm just going to rely on autofocus.
Yeah.
And that's where you kind of have to commit to like the Nikon Zs. And like I said, they make some really interesting ultra small APS-C lenses.
Yeah.
But right now, I'm not feeling it in any way, if that makes sense. I don't want anything additional. I love the idea of making it even more functional and even better, but it's like, is that cost between the conversion, the extra lenses, the extra adapters, all of that, is it worth it right now? Or do I just do that a year from now when there's also maybe a new Z8 Mark II that I can also jump into and then really leave everything at once?
Yeah, that's the big thing, is for it to make sense, it really needs to make sense. Like, for it to make sense for me, there's got to be another camera body like a Z8 or Z8 Mark II or something like that fits in the ecosystem. And that's not to say that won't happen, because there was a lot that I liked about the Z8. There's a couple things that I didn't like, but they're like, even on the used market now, they're really coming down in price on the used market, where
I have one in my MPB shopping cart right now that's like $2,900.
Yeah, see, I mean that's crazy.
Open box.
Yeah, that's crazy. But for that to make sense for me, I would have to sell my R5 Mark II.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly at a loss, which, I mean, it's a sunk cost at this point, but still, I still really like that camera too, and it does everything that I wanted it to do, with the exception of the live stream thing, which you might have missed that, but
I didn't.
That camera's great, and like right now, like the Pyxis is a great B camera to the Komodo X. It looks really good next to it. So yeah, I think there's, and honestly, if they would just be like, yeah, we'll just change the whole body out to be the same color, I'd probably be like, okay, cool.
It's definitely, all this stuff is going to happen. We know it's going to happen. It's just like, how far off is this? And so do I want to get in now, or do I want to get in a little bit later?
Yeah, I think later might be the move.
I think you might be right.
But we'll see.
But I don't know. We'll see. That's my biggest hesitation is like, are they going to keep the conversions around for a while? Or is
I don't know.
Get in now, or you just got to buy another body.
Well, I mean, they kind of alluded to that with the V-Raptor X upgrade, and like, I still think upgrades are happening.
I know Phil mentioned on Scott Balcom's live stream yesterday that conversions were still happening. You could still convert your not convert, but upgrade from your Raptor to the Raptor X.
Yeah.
And so Phil basically alluded that you could do the same thing for conversions, but you don't know. And so with how much money I've lost in the Komodo X already, I'm not hurt by it by any means.
Right.
Sorry, it's so weird getting this delay. It's like messing with what I want to say. But we've got used Komodo X's now. So if I sold it, I'm going to sell it for like what, $5,500, and then I got to buy another like $7,000 camera. So I'm losing money.
Yeah.
Either way.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and the other thing is too is like, is it worth just like, if you wanted to go this route, just selling the Komodo X and buying a brand new Z-mount Komodo X, like selling your RF one? Oh, I might have overdone the ND on that one.
Thomas asks, is RF worth it in 2025? And knowing Thomas, I don't know if this is a troll or not.
Thomas.
What do you think, buddy?
Is I honestly, RF lenses, I think the only lenses I've actually sold or sent back. I really don't. They rely so. I mean, if you're just in Canon ecosystem, Canon cameras, then yeah, fine. Like on the C70 or C80 or something. Yeah, I mean they're fine, but like those lenses rely so much on in-camera corrections, it's insane. And like I had the 15-35 for a while, and I tried on the Komodo X, and even like that lens was just so big too. But I don't know. I'd rather just have the EF 16-35 and call it a day.
Yeah, I used the RF 15-35. That was one of the ones that I had, and I used it on the KX all the time, and I actually really liked it. But it is huge.
Yeah, it's unnecessary. Like, why is it so? It's like just so chunky. I have the 24.
Yeah,
I have the 24-105 RF, the f4. That's the only RF lens. Oh no, I take that back, and I have that little like 16mm prime. Which that lens is awesome. I mean, it's a really sharp lens.
It actually is, yeah.
And then the nifty 50. But like, I don't have any, or really plan to invest in any RF L glass beyond that, because it locks you into an ecosystem forever. Yeah. And with the flange distance, you can't really adapt in the size of the physical size of the mount. So like, yeah, if you're just in Canon mirrorless or Canon, cinema cameras that are RF, then yeah, sure. I'm not a huge fan.
Yeah, it's
I think
Canon is not a brand I'm recommending to people because of the locked off ecosystem. If you're already in it, awesome. They make amazing things, but if you're thinking about going to it, you're just really limited on variety.
Yeah, I mean, and that's where I keep going back to EF lenses. Is like, you're probably not going to get like as fast of autofocus and stuff, and like, photography is a totally different subject to it. Like I'm talking specifically from a motion video standpoint, and for that, like for photography, like if I was just a photographer, like if that's all I did, then yeah, I'd have two R5 Mark I bodies and a 24-70 7200 and like the 15-35. Like I'd have those, and that's all. Like you'd be set for pretty much everything. Rent the 100-500 or something if you needed it. Those are awesome lenses for stills.
They are. Yeah.
Great. Like fantastic. And those are stills, still capture oriented lenses anyways. But for motion, for video, I think there are better options out there, at least for my workflow. And going back to EF, like I can use my 24-70 art I can move it from my Pyxis to my Komodo X to my R5 to the cinema camera, like the OG cinema camera, the 2.5K, because that's an EF mount. So it's just more so funny, like almost a more versatile lens mount because of all the mirror. Like mirrorless is like, I think put new life into like EF lenses, because
absolutely. I wish they would make new optics with EF mounts.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be really cool.
Like I hope they don't abandon it. Either that or M mount. Just keep making M mount glass.
Yeah. Yeah, they're good stuff. So is RF worth it in 2025? Thomas?
Probably not.
It depends.
Unless you're a Canon guy.
He was totally trolling. I guarantee it's got to be.
I mean, Thomas's Threads account is.
It is so good.
Superb at trolling.
It's so good. It's so good. All right. Well, let's see. I've been streaming now for over 2 hours, which is
holy crap,
insane.
man.
Yeah. Like, take that, Scott.
No, you got nothing on Scott.
No, I have nothing on Scott. I have nothing on Scott. He's got it on lock too. He's got everything all dialed in. He doesn't spend 20 minutes trying to figure out how the heck to get somebody on.
Guys, I'm sorry about that.
I think it was my fault.
I mean, it was your fault. We've already nailed this down, but I still feel bad.
Yeah,
that's why I paid you $20 and you took $40 from me.
I did nothing. The money kept coming in.
It's that freaking delay.
I don't know what your delay is.
2 payments. I don't even know how. I only clicked the button once.
It was bad there for me. I mean, Wiley was like, "Dude, I gotta go. This is bad."
Yeah.
And I was like, listen.
Thank God I don't know most of the people on your stream. I know like 3, and I just feel bad for everybody else.
I do. I feel bad for them too. But, the people that stuck around, thank you.
We're not doing this again.
King Crux says
just
goodbye.
To show you how much we appreciate you. We're not going to do this again to you.
Yeah. Everyone's probably like, cool. Well, I'll see you in your next stream next year. Because that's how... they only have to wait. They only have to wait a whole year. This was a lot of
fun, though. I would totally hop on and do it again.
Yeah, we did. We should. So King Crux said goodbye Sigma 18 to 35. Don't ever say goodbye to that lens. That lens is goated. Like, it's such a good lens. It will be replaced by a 14 to 24 Z on the Komodo X. That looks like a sweet lens. Is that the really big one? I love
my 1835.
It's like you got to get it comes with like a front adapter to use like filters in the front. Is that the one? Is that the lens I'm thinking of?
So actually, Tyler, I know you got to go, but let's discuss if we were to hypothetically upgrade to the Z-mount, what are the lenses we're most excited about? And I'm going to give you my top 5. Is that okay?
Yeah, let's hear it.
3 of them you can get for the Nikon Z-mount, and those are the Sigma contemporaries, the 16, 30, and 56. They're all 1.4. Very tiny.
Yeah.
They made them for RF, but they don't work on the KX. We don't have the protocol. Thanks, Canon. The next 2 are made by Sigma, but they're for the Sony E-mount, and they are the ultra tiny. It's like the 10 to 18 and the 18 to 50, both 2.8 zooms. Those look very intriguing as well.
Yeah, and they also have those. Sony also has those, like, they're not pancake lenses, but it's like they have like a 24, 2.8, and you know what I'm talking about? Like this. Are those the ones you're talking about?
No, but that's okay.
Oh, okay. Well, they have those too. That'd be really interesting too for hard mounting, like little. I think they came out with those lenses. I think for like when they had the Sony AirPeak, their giant, massive drone, and
I'm dropping you a picture.
A lot of people really liked those for the AirPeak because it's a really light lens. Are you do it in the chat? Or just text it to me?
For your text message so you can get it.
Okay, good call.
Let me know when you get it.
Oh, yeah.
That thing is so tiny.
10 to 18.
Autofocus.
Yeah,
2.8.
Yeah, that looks like it's a sweet looking lens.
See, that would be fun. I mean, you could vlog with that thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and then King Rock just brings up a good point. Like, you can use old the older f-mount glass, which is cool.
Oh, that's okay. Real quick, that's the other lens
There's like some old
that I'm
Voigtlanders
very
and stuff.
excited about. Nikon makes fantastic super telephotos.
Yeah.
And something like their 600 or their 800 6.3, that would look pretty baller on the KX for like some wildlife stuff.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, there's. So I'll give you mine, like the 24-70. The Nikon 24-70 is an awesome lens, and then they have that like 14-35. It's not their like. Josh has it. He just had a video on it, and it's like it's tiny, and
it's an f4.
Yes, an f4. And then I mentioned this earlier, but like the Blaze R Apex, their new E-mount autofocus anamorphic lens. It's 1.33, so that's actually like more ideal for the Komodo X sensor being the sensor it is, since you don't have a 3x2 option or anything. So that's actually probably one of the more interesting lenses for me to get autofocus anamorphic. That'd be pretty cool on the Komodo X. So I mean that's mega helpful for like, again, like hard mounting or black arm or something like that, or a gimbal, like having a gimbal and just incorporating like anamorphic into that is just such a cool idea.
Those blazers are a lot of fun too.
Yeah, I would love to. I shot a couple projects on the Remus. The one, is that the 1.5x?
That guy.
Yeah, that one.
Yep.
Yeah, those are sweet lenses.
The B set, man. If you're gonna get some, get the B set.
Yeah, and it's like, well, do I do the upgrade or the conversion, or invest that into more lenses? So
I don't know. The lenses that I want right now, I would love to fill out more of the DZO Arl that I have.
Yeah, those look like awesome lenses.
They're fantastic. I really, really like.
Yeah, I want to test out too the new Laowa Nanomorph LF.
Oh, they have a large format nanomorph.
Yeah, and they don't look. They'll have them at at NAB. Yeah, so I definitely want to check them out there. So
who of your followers are coming to NAB?
I don't know. I think there's a couple of people that were mentioned that they may want to join in on, but
maybe we can do another one of these live streams from NAB.
That will be challenging because I'm not bringing this whole setup.
Then it sounds like we won't be doing any of that.
All right, so David asks, does the autofocus also work as well with the speed booster? Does that have any influence? Thank you. I
mean, it depends on the speed booster, doesn't it?
Yeah, I don't know if he's referring to the RF version or like a EF to Z or whatever. But
I know Canon's speed booster, it still works with autofocus.
Yeah. You have to try it out. I'm gonna download the beta and see, because I don't have any projects coming up in the near future with the Komodo X that I'd need to that I'd have to worry about running beta, and then if I need to, I'll just roll it back to the actual build. Because they just came out with...
Yeah, you do get some improvements autofocus wise with like sensitivity, but you don't have any speed granularity. Obviously, you can't do the 0.1 increments on the aperture.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's another cool thing about the Z-mount. There are a lot of benefits to it, but I'm just wondering, like, if with my EF lens collection, would I actually like see the fruits of those benefits, or would it just be more of a oh, this is cool to have?
Yeah. Did you talk about the powered mount?
The new PL thing?
Well, no. The reason that they can't do the conversion to the OG Komodo is because the Z mount actually requires more power than what the OG
Oh,
Komodo can deliver. But because of that power, you can actually operate the zoom from the camera rather than from the lens,
oh, that's
which
cool.
is pretty wild. And I'm wondering if we'll see any of that functionality in the app. Because that would be pretty dope to like sit at my desk and just like zoom in and also rack focus.
Yeah, that would be
That would be
cool.
pretty wild.
The other thing that's cool is you can like some of the lenses that have like the this is the only thing that's like it looks like a lens on my desk right now, but that has like the little button on the lens,
Mm-hmm.
and that's cool. You can use that to like assign to like some autofocus setting, or like to toggle false color on and off, or like all kinds of different things. So that's pretty cool. I mean, that's like a yeah. Again, like I think I've said this to you as well. Like not on the stream. If I had if I had a Z8, for example, like if I owned a Z8, then
Mm-hmm.
this conversion is an absolute no brainer.
Yeah,
Absolute no brainer. If I had a second Komodo X that I was getting ready to order, then I'd order the Z mount and then do the conversion. Like that would make sense. But right now I'm
for
like,
sure.
right now I'm like, okay, well I just have basically a bunch of EF and PL lenses, with the exception of a couple RF lenses that I just used for the R5. Is it worth it? The only reason it would be worth it is if I just sold my R5 Mark II with the RF glass and took the loss. That would be the only reason to do it. And not the only reason. And who knows? I may do it because
Here's the
I'm
thing,
also a
though,
YouTuber.
Tyler. You get a premium for Canon stuff, and we've seen with the Z8, it's already $1,000 cheaper
Yeah.
than the R5 Mark II. Like, yes, I guess in a way you are losing some money, but you are moving across it, and you probably won't be out anything.
Yeah. I mean, no, I agree. The, there's some things though, like the Z8 that I like. Like they got rid of the mechanical shutter in it, and like it sounds weird, but like not having a mechanical shutter just like feels weird from a shooting experience. It
Dude, you're talking to the person that will buy a camera based off on how a shutter feels and sounds.
Yeah, I mean, like I know there's like a something that you can do on the Z8 to make that a little bit of a
Yeah, they had an update to where you could pick
experience.
from different sounds and made it sound better.
Sounds, but like the sound is not the thing. It's like the feel. Like when I like, it's back
That
to
little
like it's like a DS, like yeah, like a DSLR slap, like
to
when
the
the mirror
photo.
slapped. But even on like the R5, like I can feel when the shutter or not, yeah,
Mhm.
when the shutter engages. Like that's the feedback when I'm taking stills that I really like. Like even on like the Fuji, like the X106, it has like a leaf shutter or whatever it's called. But like you can still, it's not as much, but like you can still feel it. And I feel like there's like this like mechanical connection to the photo and to the experience that I was missing from the Z8 when I had it on. I had it on loan. I didn't buy it or return it or anything.
Yeah.
And that was like one of the things, like for mirrorless cameras, like I use it just as much, not just as much, but I use it a lot for stills capture for my clients. And I don't know, that was just like a weird, it was like a weird quirk thing about it that I don't think they're going to bring back to like a Z8 II. But otherwise I thought
Yeah.
it was, I mean, it was a new camera system you had to learn. Like it was just like menus, everything was different, and like it took a while to like get used to that. But like, you know, big deal. Like just that's what happens when you go to any new camera system for the most part, except for Blackmagic,
Yeah.
because that's the best menu system ever. But yeah, I mean, it was a great camera. Like the Z8's a great camera, and I didn't like how the screen, like, you couldn't flip it out, like that. That was
I know that's dumb, but honestly, that's kind of the only thing that's hanging me up right now.
Yeah.
Is just not being able to see like my exposure when I need to like talk to the camera if I'm walking around.
Yeah.
I don't want to like shoot something and it's like, oh god, it's blown out and have to redo it again.
Yeah. Now from like
just want a flippy screen.
taking stills, and like the Z8 is a stills camera that they just were like, hey, you know what? Let's put a lot of crazy video stuff in this and just go for it. But that said, anyways, I digress. The Z8 was a cool camera. It was a cool camera. The screen was cool for photography, you know, going up and down, and like it even like flipped to the side or whatever. So if you're doing low angle portrait
photography,
yeah, it was cool. But I don't know if Sony has a patent on it or something, but like the way that their screen like flips and articulates, like that's the best.
Yeah,
like,
everybody should
I wish
be doing that.
Everybody do that. And I remember like way back in the day when Canon. Yeah, hold on, I've got it right over here. Way back in the day, Canon, they were the first camera company to do this. This is the 60D. This is still, I think it's my first DSLR that I ever got. And this was like revolutionary. Like everybody was like, that did video, was like, why every single camera should do this. Like, why doesn't every camera do this? And like, you know, it's so funny how like different camera companies like will revolutionize something and like make something a design so simple, and then like they'll sit on that for forever and then not do anything for 10 years.
Well, the Leica SL3 last year just introduced their first flip screen ever. So
yeah,
I don't think Leica's going to introduce a flippy screen for another 10 years.
Yeah, definitely not in their short range business plans.
But their flippy screen feels way better than everybody else's. You could grab the camera and do this with it, and it would be fine.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, it's probably made
built
from
like a tank.
Yeah. So yeah, King Crest is enjoying the shutter angle option on the Z9. Hopefully comes to the Z8 and Z6 III soon. Yeah.
Wait a sec. The Z8 doesn't have shutter angle?
No, the Z9 does, and it got like a waveform and something else.
That's cool.
Yeah, it is cool. So some bloggers started their channel with the Canon 1DX with no flippy screen. Yeah.
Well, I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
I want a flippy screen.
They did.
It's like 10 years later.
Yeah, they certainly did, and they had to like, you know, get exposure with the. I had a 1DX3 for a while, and I didn't like it, and every single one of them that started with it, that none of them use those kind of cameras anymore because the flippy screen is just really easy to blog.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, it's a small thing. Like it's a small thing, but like, yeah. And that doesn't bother me.
We do though, and some of those tiny things can make a big difference.
Yeah, that's true.
Most of the videos I'm making nowadays are me out in some environment shooting a video, and I can't afford to like go back and do it.
Yeah,
if I screw something up.
Yeah,
so I want a flippy screen.
And you also don't want to have to bring an external monitor for those kinds of things. Just to like get your composition up and whatever. It's little things, but I mean, everyone has different needs, and the Z8 and Z9 were clearly designed for the photographer in mind, not the videographer. Initially, I think from a design physical design perspective, but they pack so much into it. They're like, this is like almost production ready with all the stuff that it can do. And maybe their assumption was, well, if you want to use it for production, rig it out and call it a day. And you know what? They looked out. It's like they looked after their photographers and user base before their video user base, which makes sense because nobody was using Nikon really for video before that.
I wonder if they see the flippy screen as I want to make sure I'm in focus, and because their autofocus is so good that you don't need to see yourself. But for me, it's not an autofocus thing. It's a composition and an exposure thing.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Let's see. All right, so it's shocking how people keep speculating what the Z8, you simply go rent it out and use it for yourself. I've used it for a year and yeah, so like I had the Z8 on loan for like 3 months, and like I enjoyed the camera. I just there were just things about it that I didn't love. I feel like at this point I probably could get over that because some things in my workflow have changed, and I have specific tools for different purposes. But as like an all around camera, it's not even like looking at myself, like from the screen perspective. It's not even like looking at myself, but like if I'm setting up a composition or something, or if I'm like over to the side of the camera, I like being able to just like flip here we go. Like if I'm to the side of the camera, I like being able to just like do that and just look from the side. And like even like filming interviews and stuff, like if I'm using like the R5 or something, or like the FX3, like whatever, and I just have to flip the screen to the side and I can kind of articulate it any way I want to, just so I can keep an eye on it, look over it and be like, okay, cool, everything's looking good. We can't do that with the way the Z8 screen is. It's not a it's a little thing, but you know, whatever.
Just depends on your workflow. Those little things can make a difference.
Yeah, I had it for long enough to make my determination on that camera.
Yeah, it's definitely. I would love to move to something like that right now, because the hybrid cameras I have, like my SL2S, I absolutely love it for shooting photos, but the autofocus is not that great. And so I can't rely on it if I'm ever in front of the lens.
Yeah.
And the S5 II, amazing video camera, totally can rely on the autofocus. Garbage experience for me personally for shooting photos.
Yeah.
So I'm constantly bringing like 2 or 3 systems every time I go out. That's where like the Z8 or a Z8 Mark II could be really handy.
Yeah.
It's like, now it's just a one thing.
Yeah.
A one system deal.
I also wish the Z8 had a better intermediate codec. Well, 2 things. Number one, I wish I wasn't locked into Rec 2020.
Is it BT 2020 is what it shoots in?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, that's what my SL2S shoots in.
Yeah, I mean it's obviously bigger than like Rec 709, but it's, you know, not as wide as like the Canon Cinema
Bigger's
Gamut
better,
or
buddy.
Red Wide Gamut or something like that. Yeah, helps. Definitely helps. But it's also like a 10-bit 420 codec, and like in most cases that's not gonna matter. But like when there's faster motion, then you can start seeing artifacting. Like that's why I went with the Mavic 3 Pro Cine that can record in ProRes, because you could see a lot of that artifacting and stuff happening in the 420 codec as opposed to the 422. And it's just like weird, like little weird like things like that. Like you either have like this kind of lightweight H.265 codec that is like, you know, it's 10-bit 420, or if you want to shoot not in RAW, you have to go to like ProRes HQ. So, you know what I mean? and then you obviously have RAW, which the RAW on that camera is awesome. Like it looks so good, and you have that 4K, like full frame 4K RAW. It's like something similar, I think, what Canon's doing.
Is it the SRAW stuff or is that Canon's thing?
Canon's is SRAW. I can't remember what NRAW is. What? Well, I can't remember what it's called. I don't know what
But they have that they have the oversampled 4K RAW, right?
I don't know what they do. It looks good. It looks fine.
Oh, okay.
Like it looked great.
Maybe I'll go rent a Nikon Z8 today.
Yeah, you should. No, it was awesome. Like a lot of the stuff on that camera was really great, and like it was like, I use that camera a lot for like a lot of social media stuff for my clients because I can like do stills and motion like same camera, and that was really like that was something that's really important to me to have a camera like that, and ultimately I ended up going with the R5 Mark II later on down the road, just because it fit into my workflow just fine. But
Yeah.
The Z8 is a great camera, and like now that the prices are coming down, like I am really tempted to pick one up. And if I do that, then the Z-mount conversion would certainly happen.
Makes
Kevin Reyes is here. What's up, Kevin?
Kevin's a cool dude. He makes good stuff.
Yeah, he does. He's super talented. Nikon makes some of the best lenses in the industry. Yeah. They make great lenses. And there's stills, like, from just photography too. Like, I've always loved how the Nikon does color reproduction. I've always really liked like Nikon for stills. Let's see. So Z6 III is the vlogging camera, replace the A7S III. Way better codecs and ergonomics. Cool. That's awesome. The so Wolfle, I don't have Nikon, but I really like the E-mount. Yeah, E-mount lenses can be adapted. And it said the 4K on the Z8 is oversampled from 8K. Yeah. No, we're talking about the RAW. Like there's a 4K RAW that's like full frame 4K RAW, and I don't think it was oversampled. Like I don't know how you can oversample RAW, but it was something like that where it, I don't know. I can't remember exactly what it did, but it was like kind of like Canon where on the R5 II where it's like 4K SRAW, and like it like line skips or does something, but it's like still the full frame. It's not cropping in like Reds do. But somehow, I don't know. It's really cool.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go rent a Z8 today.
Yeah, you should.
I have to test one. I have to try it out.
Yeah, and you're gonna buy one because you're gonna like it. I think you're gonna like it, but I think the shutter thing is gonna really annoy you from a stills perspective.
Every camera I have right now that I use for video has shutter angle.
No, I don't mean
so, yeah,
I don't mean shutter angle or shutter speed.
Oh, you mean the sound?
I mean like the electronic shutter. That bothered me more than it probably should have.
Yeah, I would be getting the Z8 as a video first camera and photo second because I just like the experience of shooting on my
true.
M or my SL2S.
Yeah.
So it's more or less like, is this camera a pretty big jump from my S5 Mark II for video? And if it is, then maybe. But if it's not like a huge jump, then I probably wouldn't go that route right now.
Yeah. I might try to get the Z8 from B&H, get a loaner from them or something, and take it for another spin. That might be like the straw on the camel's back, as it were, to push me back over to that ecosystem. You may even keep the R5 for like its own thing, and the Z8 just be a good B cam or whatever to the Komodo X or A cam, depending on what the shot was. I mean, it's full frame sensor. It's a great looking camera. I did really like the image that came out of the camera, but there were some quirky things about it that, yeah, I'll leave it there. I think it's good. All right, we'll get at the rest of these comments, and then I probably should go because
I gotta go too.
Yeah. You
much
gotta
fun as this has been.
you gotta go rent that Z8 for the.
Gotta go rent that C8. I gotta make this video that kind of seems pointless now, but probably should still make it anyway.
Yeah.
And then at some point, I gotta eat food.
Yeah, that's important. I had a salad before this, so yeah.
Nice.
Trying to keep
Getting that nab body ready.
Dude, I'm trying, man. I'm trying. And I need to go lift. I was supposed to go hit the gym, the garage gym, like an hour and a half ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just get yourself a Compex, and then you can work out while you're doing a live stream.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Well, I think we are going to wrap this up. And Brandon,
guys,
thank
let
you.
us know if you ever want us to live stream again.
Yeah.
Together.
we should just have this queued up like beforehand. I thought it was clever. I played a video while we were getting you all dialed in. But
yeah, I know. I thought for sure everybody would just bail the moment you did that.
yeah, some folks just hung around. That was like, thank you guys and gals.
Tyler, there's a new camera coming out. I said camera weird.
Yeah,
God,
you sure did.
There's a new camera coming out next week. Maybe we can live stream after it drops.
Oh, there is? What is that? Or
I can't tell you.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, cool.
Sorry.
Awesome. Well, that's going to be exciting. Can't wait to.
It actually is.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
You're gonna poop yourself with excitement.
Nice. Okay. Well, I like to know about that. I don't want to be that excited though. I never want to be that excited for anything. I don't care what the circumstance is.
Ah!
All right. Well, I will. We're gonna continue doing this live stream podcast type thing, and it's just gonna be absolute pandemonium like it was this time. And
see
then,
if I can find you some much better guests.
Yeah, well, you're gonna like break my brain too, and be like, "Hey, let's get a third guest on this," and I'm gonna. Okay, that'll. Speaking of, anyways, all right, BT. Thanks for hanging, everybody. Thanks for hanging. I'm gonna hit end stream. I can't remember if I'm supposed to end stream on the YouTube or on this thing. On the stream,
I don't know.
thing first.
Should I just pull the plug to the feed?
I'm just gonna cut. I just gotta cut power to my house completely. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining.
See ya.
BT. Thanks, man.
Enjoy the $40.